Hi everyone, my name is Alejandra Suaza, and today I'm gonna talk multilingual and linguistic diversity in education. According to ClipCat, languages serve as important symbols of belonging, enabling different groups of people to know what ethnic groups they belong to and what common heritages they share. This means that without an indigenous language, people would lose their cultural identity and most probably their origin. Language can also be defined as a generic communication phenomenon, especially in description of instructions. It facilitates learning through interaction with adults and collaboration with mates. In addition, language as a medium of communication amongst humans possesses numerous attributes as being governed by rules, is a system and performs such a functions as giving information, expressing feelings and emotions, and establishing rapport, exercising authority, and an identity maker. English, French, and Arabic are considered international languages, the first of the three being the most widely spoken in the world. Some other languages are at the doorstep of becoming international, such as the Chinese language, just because of their development in science and technology. Surprisingly, the fact that many African countries and others attained independence over 50 years ago from the political tutelage of foreign colonizers and tend to have numerous indigenous languages, some of which serve as lingua franca, they still ended up adopting their foreign languages of the colonizers as official, namely English, Portuguese, and French. Many Latin American countries are in a similar situation where Spanish and Portuguese, the language that were imposed by the colonizers, became the official language, and the other indigenous language became just part of the communities that still exist but now don't have a strong voice over the official language. As the language spreads, its culture spreads along with it. English language, for example, has thus run across the globe, stampeding languages and culture on its way because everybody wants to speak it. It has become a necessity, and people must behave in consonance to its culture. This language has crossed many cultures, devastating them and also grounding them to extinction. Same thing is happening nowadays in Colombia. Spanish as the official language has been knocking off the Amerindian dialects over the past decades. As for 2014, there were 70 different dialects divided into 13 language families. Today, there are only 65, and over the time, these dialects are closer and closer to extinction. As language is alive, my guess is that in the next 5 to 10 decades, Spanish and many other languages will also have to face the problem of getting closer to being extinct. Globalization has indeed affected all spheres of human endeavors such as culture, trade, investment, natural environment, workforce, media, population growth, health, language, and so on, especially because of power and economic trade. In 2000, in 1960, in 1996, the US Congress ratified a bill to designate English as the federal government official language of business, making people around the world learn English. Politically and economically speaking, the acquisition of the official language for indigenous communities is a necessity. In Colombia, indigenous people tend to be only in their territories without going to the big cities just because they aren't able to speak Spanish. Unfortunately, over the past 50 years and because of the violence and drug trafficking, these people have been displaced from their territories, making them go to the big cities where no one speaks their language. These people are part of the hundreds of poor people in Colombia. But what's worse is that they don't have a voice to fight their rights. This situation is very sad. Indigenous children in need to help their communities and families are learning Spanish to go to schools, leaving their native language to the side. According to the Colombian Constitution 1997, the recognition of the status of vernacular community languages as co-official with Spanish in the area where these are spoken and the implementation of bilingual education in these same regions gave rise to initial optimism in relation to spread of bilingualism in the country. although there has been some progress in the implementation of constitutional principles of linguistic and cultural diversity through the policy of ethnoeducation for the minority, indigenous, and Creole speaking communities, in reality, bilingualism in internationally prestigious language, particularly Spanish, English, has been privileged. According to the 2018 census, the Colombian indigenous population is about 1,009,617 people who belong to the 115 different indigenous communities. The government, in their need of not leaving anyone behind, is giving these communities a voice, implementing different programs where indigenous people can get access to education, where they have Spanish as the language of instruction, and at the same time they are trying to capture their native language into written stories and dictionaries so language can be preserved. Research studies have shown that learning to read and write in one's native language provides a useful foundation for students learning to read and write in other languages. Some benefits of multilingualism practices in education include the creation and appreciation of cultural awareness, add academic and educational value, enhances creativity, adjustments in society, and appreciation of local languages. Multilingualism practice creates the development of mixed languages mainly due to the intense language contact. As a result, speakers therefore tend to involve a mixture of languages during verbal communication. This contact may also result in the creation of slangs. In conclusion, I totally agree with Darish's 2016 stated about the politics of language signals formidable struggles around the world, where the inextricable relationship of language, ideology, and power is clearly unmistakable. Through the text, we could evidence that it is necessary to have better policies to stop oppressing language minority populations around the world. What Colombia and some other countries are doing might be just one step to preserve Amerindian languages, but it has to be more than a policy, so no one can change it. Thank you.